And if that isn't a perfect start to this new series, I don't know what is. Welcome to the Holodeck Hour, or the Holodeck Hours. I'm not sure if we're going to keep the S or drop it, but that's not the point. Anyways, welcome y'all. This is a new series I'm starting. I've been thinking about this for like way too long and just debating on the name for even longer. This is just a series for basically two things. The first being, this is really just a background noise series. This is truthfully meant to be something you throw on and listen to, kind of like a video audio podcast. Yeah, if you like to listen to people on the internet play games and then talk about something they're not entirely qualified or qualified at all to have an opinion on, you have found yourself at the right video. Yeah, so there's going to be, I think, this is going to be my kind of throw-in series for just me playing games that I don't necessarily want to syndicate. As I'm recording this right now, we're working through Ghostwire Tokyo, which we've been playing for a couple months, and Xanadu Next, what we just started. This series is, it's not first looks, which are kind of just going to be one-offs. This series is truthfully meant to be just me usually practicing a game, so this is going to be a lot for things like roguelikes, or in this case pinball, which we'll get into in a second, or racing games, just stuff where you kind of need to put in hours, and you can throw this on in the background and just listen to somebody talk. Most of the episodes will probably be named more so around what the conversation is rather than the game. The game will be, maybe if you're like me, that's why I'm making these series, you're interested in watching content about a game, but also just having some interesting commentary. That's really the purpose of these. These aren't guides, tutorials, or anything like this. Truthfully, is me, in this scenario, trying to get some hours in on some pinball and improving my pinball skills, as I am now recently addicted to pinball, which is a whole thing we'll get into. And I don't know, how these series are going to go, but if you see the Holodeck Hour, you'll know this is just kind of a throw it on in the background. You don't need to keep up with the series. You don't need to watch all of them to kind of understand where we're at. It truthfully is just to throw it on and let it ride. So with that, let's get started with some fishtails. So I think, and as we do that, we immediately go down the drain, which is like, could not be more indicative of how good I am at pinball and also at commentary. Yeah, so, oh gosh, there's going to be a lot of this, and this is the perfect place to start. So let's start with why pinball. Where do you, oh gosh, I say that, I'm like, where do I even start? So, man, this is going to be rough, as I really am trying to improve my real pinball skills, but pinball is expensive and also extremely hard, as I drain literally every single ball. Hopefully by the end of this, we're going to be picking up some scores. Really, the goal of this episode, and just particular for the gaming perspective, as I am struggling to both talk and play, which is to be... oh, gosh, to be expected, is to just basically just beat my high score, and I kind of want to learn a little bit more about this table. Yeah, we're not going to get a match on this. So, let this boy rip back up. I love, one thing I will say about this, actually have really never, this is Pinball Effects for those that don't know. This is a Williams table, if that means something to you. If it doesn't, why don't we go into that real quickly? We'll start there, as this is going to be all over the place, as is my life. In pinball, there are a few major manufacturers. There's Stern, Bally's, and Williams are like kind of the behemoths of the genre. And then there's stuff like in Chicago Entertainment, there's Dead Flip, there's Jack Danger's tables, there's a whole bunch out there. Man, that was terrible. That one I should have picked up. So this is a Williams table. Williams tables, from what I'm gathering, I will fully admit, my pinball addiction is very newfound and basically based off of purely internet Wikipedia. And oh my gosh, we need to get past this diatribe and get into the focus here. We need to lock in. Williams tables are, from what I understand, some of the more difficult ones, depending on kind of the age of the table. Oh gosh, That's just unfair. You can have a tendency to drain just straight down the middle. A lot of things that are hard to save, they can kind of fast. But I know it varies so much from table to table, the angle of the table. In this game, it depends on what physics you're running. Which, you know, I had really never... Oh, God. That's something I'm trying to practice in particular. Is just getting better on when the ball goes to the north, we'll call it. This influences the trajectory enough to not have it go straight down the middle. So, why pinball? And I actually... Holy cow. On the most terrible run over, you actually got a match. I've never had that happen. 5 mil. We can definitely do better than that. I think right now I think we're at 13 mil is the high score, which is also nothing to write home about. But hopefully we will be writing home after we sit here and practice. You know, and I'll even say this. Oh, God, I should have nudged there. Let's get the autocast, which is just like beginners right there. That was not the worst. Here, why don't we do this? Let's get a trap going. Please don't hit the bumper. Oh, a little too much. There we go. You know, if you're also a pinball fan, go ahead and throw on some pinball while I'm playing pinball. We can play pinball together over the internet. Tell me your score if you're into this. If you're not, well, actually, I totally get that too, because this is like such a niche and intensely hard hobby. But of course, I'm just recently getting into. There we go. All right. So, yes. Why pinball? So the story starts... Oh, where does the story start? Maybe 6 months ago. In a work meeting, and we had some clients in town, and one of my coworkers was kind of just... We're just kind of workshopping some ideas to actually do after our workshop. Of like what we could do, you know, we could just... You have people in town, you know, it's a courtesy to kind of either go out to dinner with people who have flown in, or, you know, if your business makes it appropriate, maybe hit a bar after work, detox a little bit, you know. Honestly, a lot of times when I'm in those types of work settings, sometimes I don't necessarily want to continue hanging out with people I hung out with all day, but other times it's nice, you know, you guys sit there all day and maybe have some tense conversations, or you just have been kind of tunnel vision. It's nice to get out. So one of my coworkers mentioned, hey, you know, there's this pinball place that's like renowned all over the country. They have 40 plus machines and people actually travel here to play. And I had never heard of this place. I didn't even realize that there was like truly dedicated pinball places near me, and that like immediately sparked my interest, because I've always liked pinball, but oh god, that right there, right, that should have been an up nudge. That's on me. And once we get past my brain thinking on the stories, we're really gonna lock in. God, I'm terrible at this. Yeah, so she had mentioned that, and so I took a look. We ended up just I think going out to dinner somewhere else, but I kind of wrote this place down. I was like, man, that seems like really cool. So it's been on my list of kind of places to check out for a good last half year, but just never really figured out the timing to do it. Me and my partner are like, we're always so busy. She's either running around or I'm running around, so it's hard for us to sometimes pick stuff that's outside of our normal, you know, weekday date activities, stuff like that. But she was interested in going, and we've had a couple of friends that also wanted to go. And what's interesting about this place is actually in a bowling alley. So they just have this crazy, really well-kept library of pinball machines that you can go and play for $15 for 2 hours, unlimited plays. You can have some drinks. It's like, honestly, the perfect boy dinner. God. As I drain one after another. Goodness me. Yeah, so we finally managed to make it over there. We actually just went there to bowl, but after we finished bowling, I was like, we're right here. We got to check this place out. And we played some games, stayed way too long, and it reignited my like crazy. Oh, okay, there we go. There we got a nice little slap save, I'll call it. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. But yeah, reignited this like kind of crazy rabbit hole that I had I went into like last year, and then it never really resolved. So played a whole bunch of really nice, like well-adjusted. They have a league that actually runs this place. So I'm thinking about joining, even though I suck. But there's nothing more fun to me for whatever reason than like starting a hobby and just being absolutely terrible at it. I am really addicted to being bad at things. I could not explain it to you in the slightest, but a lot of my hobbies I'm like really bad at, and slowly I've gotten better. And usually when I get really good at something, I get bored of it. So I like to pick stuff with a super high skill ceiling. Ugh. Like another one of my big hobbies is I love sim racing. I wouldn't say I'm bad at sim racing. I've been sim racing for like several years now. I've done iRacing. I've done Assetto Corsa, all sorts of. I've actually done like the Initial D simulator games. I've beaten like the latest Infinity Zero, I think is what it's called. I've like completed everything and have like a super high rank at the arcades and that. So I'm not a stranger to being bad, but I just thought, you know, well, I guess I'll take a step back. So I went and played all these pinball machines. I sucked, but had a blast. But I wanted to get some more time in on these tables, right? So if you, oh gosh, more working, y'all. This is actually why the series exists, is so that you don't watch my gameplay and you just listen to me talk. If you're watching, I'm sorry. Also, though, maybe you'll like pinball now, and you can learn the art of practicing. I don't know what I'm saying, but with this dive I went into, really, when you, gosh, man, we gotta keep an eye out for up nudges on that danger zone. When you look into the world of pinball, and if you know there are pinball people who have stumbled upon this and know more about this than I do, I don't know how you got here, but I'm happy to have you. And please forgive somebody who is very much wading into the waters of, oh my gosh, I am terrible at this game, of your world. But it seems like, man, all right, we really got to watch for that center drain. There's a couple options out there. There's Future Pinball, and then there's Virtual Pinball, which are like, honestly, it looks like it was in .NET or something. Kind of these open source pinball platforms you can use with virtual pinball tables. And so my whole start there was like, you go and you play, there we go, some really good pinball on some really well-kept machines in a really nice environment. And that onto itself is just a lovely experience, you know? All right, this is going to be a tough one. There we go. Oh, I missed the catch. What are you going to do? But, you know what I mean? When you go out, you kind of want it to be good, because pinball ain't cheap. Actually, I mean, it kind of is in the grand scheme of things. $15 for 2 hours is like the cheapest form of entertainment you can do outside the house. I do believe that. But, you know, you go and you want to... You just want to be cranking, you know what I mean? You want to be getting high scores. You want to be working those muscles, getting that muscle memory in, learning the table. And virtual pinball is a great way to do that, albeit, you know, really there we go. The reason I started to get really into pinball was we're gonna go deeper. So just get, ooh yeah, there we go. We're gonna get deeper here for a second. So back, and this is also just me off the dome piece, so this could be totally wrong. You're welcome to fact check me on this. But if I do recall, back in the 60s or 70s, pinball was banned in the US. Maybe banned's not the right word, but we'll say regulated. I can't remember it exactly, but essentially it was because it was considered a form of... yeah, there was nothing to do there, and I almost tilted. Because it was considered a form of gambling. Which, you know, I never really thought about it, but... I could see that. I could totally see it being classified as a form of gambling. Especially when you're as bad as... oh, gosh. As bad as me, or as bad as the layman, right? Like, I would say... maybe 1 out of 100 people actually know what a dead bounce is, what a ski pass is, what a post is. You know, this like very pinball specific lingo, or even knows the techniques, let alone knows how to nudge or what nudging is used for, or that you're allowed to nudge, right? I think that's probably like baby's first step into pinball, is realizing you got to be moving that machine a lot. And so I think that sets the field. Back to the story. So 60s, 70s are around, pinball's in its heyday, or maybe it's coming into its heyday, but it's considered to just be basically random whether or not you win, lose, or do good. So it wasn't, there was, I guess there were states where it wasn't allowed, but the story goes, there was a man who wanted to prove this not to be the case, and he went and, I want to say the story goes, he either played for Congress or played for some sort of lawmakers and showed them that he could play this game for like 2 hours straight without, you know, draining all 3 balls, and basically proved to them that pinball is not a game of chance. There is absolutely some randomness in it, but that's the beauty of the game, right? Like as is any sort of you know, almost all arcade games have some level of randomness in them. That's why they're fun, and card games are the same way. Randomness is, you know, if something's the same every time, it's not fun. Even stuff like Counter-Strike, or, you know, almost any game has some level of randomness in it. Maybe that's not true, but I enjoy it. I enjoy the variety of it. So he went in, he showed them, hey, pinball is not random. You can influence the ball in a myriad of ways, and you can really play this. You know, there's a lot to be learned here, but you have to do certain things, and nudging is a very important part of the game. This, that, the other. And then the Age of Pinball was born. So I read this and became just kind of super interested, right? Because I just never realized as somebody who had casually played pinball, you know, since the 90s, just, you know, you go to arcades and stuff, that you could nudge. And, you know, when you play pinball games, right, gosh, all of them, even back to Windows, you know, the pinball game that probably most people are familiar with, the PC included Space Cadet pinball. You had the ability to nudge, and as a kid, and as pretty much, you know, and up until basically last year, I never knew what the, gosh, terrible. I never knew what the nudge function was for, and I just kind of assumed it was like a simulation thing, like, oh yeah, you can smack the table if the ball gets stuck. And you would hit it a whole bunch, and then you would just tilt the table and you'd lose, and it was just kind of like that thing. I have now come to learn nudging is 50% of the game, and if a pinball game does not give you good control over nudging, it's not even worth its weight in gold. You know what I mean? Not even worth its weight in silver or copper, we'll say. Oh god, I should have. That was a terrible one. There, I should have. I saw it, but I didn't get the nudge correctly. So, you put all of this together, this infinite Wikipedia holing, this insatiable hunger to play pinball at home. I tried to get virtual pinball set up, and I actually did, but I just like have not spent the time to get my screen regions set up for it correctly, and to get the pup files. Oh gosh, there I should have smacked it right. I haven't got, which is like the pinup player, which is, you know, on some boards, if you're looking here on the screen now, like at the top here, you'll have a like the score right there, right? And it shows up in the top left. A lot of different games have like, and even ones, oh my gosh, in this have their man, this was not a good round. None of these have been good rounds. Although the last one wasn't too bad. Pinup player is like, in virtual pinball, lets you kind of put the ROM, which gives you like kind of like the backing graphics. You have the pinball machine that activates after you smack different stuff. So I have it working, but it doesn't look great, and I'm doing it like on ultra wide, which has its own set of problems. Yada yada yada. So I found... I'd always heard of Pinball FX. I know it's been around for a while, and I even know this one that I am playing, there's a little controversy around it. I think it, from what I understand, it is mostly due to people who had Pinball FX 3 or maybe even Pinball FX 2 tables, and they weren't able to migrate them over, and then Zen Studios, who I believe is the maker of Zen Pinball / Pinball FX, just were being a little slimy with their subscription models and the lack of ability to do tables and this, that, the other. So people had already invested a whole bunch of money into collecting these tables they liked in other versions, didn't really have an option to bring it over, which I, you know, my only opinion is a discount for your people who have supported you never hurts. You know what I mean? You don't want to turn them away. You want to bring them in, and even if it's, you know, you should give them some sort of discount, but I'm not in that bucket. I never collected these tables. So I'm all fresh and new, and Pinball FX is the latest version, so here we are. And basically, the reason, well, I think we've almost covered, like, the basics. And I think there's probably going to be a lot of Pinball episodes, at least for the near future, because I am, like, just playing the hell out of this right now. I knew it was 2. I knew I was out of control. I should have trapped. I should have trapped. Oh, I got 2 fish, though. Yeah, no bones. Yeah, so I played this. They give you like a day trial to kind of, you know, it's like, you know, hey bro, hit this, and then they get you addicted. I was really impressed with these tables, I'm not gonna lie. Now, it is not real pinball. There's nothing to say that it is. Will these skills transfer over to a physical machine? 75% of them, probably not. But, because, you know, the reality is timing is different for every table. Tilt is adjusted on every table. There's just so many variables of it, but honestly, that's why I actually, like, love pinball. It is, oh, I need to be hitting those on the way up. It is a vestige of times past. It really is. Like, when you see these tables, oh my gosh, I could not explain to you, like, what it does to my brain, but all of that dopamine that has been lost, all of those dopamine receptors that are burnt out by, like, television, and I don't really use TikTok, but, you know, just like the age of digital, for this, I walk into an arcade or like an analog, you know, a real experience of video games in the real world, not just like on my screen or TV at home, and you see all of these analog machines with neon lights and all these sounds, and I am brought back to a simpler time, and that is a huge part of the reason I like it. The other part of the reason I like it is these things are absolutely marvels of engineering, and it's also kind of why I also got into this, right? Because, you know, you go and you play pinball once, you're like, oh, I'm gonna buy a pinball table, which I don't have the room in my house, and I probably won't for some time. I don't have enough room for one pinball table. If I were to, I probably would get a virtual one, just so I could, like, get more time in, but having there's no comparison. Having a real pinball table, there's too much about pinball that is locked in the physical. Like, it is such a visceral experience. I have no idea. I hit A there. I just was not paying attention. It is such a visceral experience where the buttons can be tapped light and hard. You're moving the machine. You're constantly adjusting it. It's such a physical analog game. You know what I mean? With digital aspects, but it's an actual ball hitting physical objects, and the whole thing is based off of just you're the juggler, man. You know what I mean? They have all of these pipes, all of these rails, all of these things going on. The machines constantly have to be tuned and kept intact. They're just Rube Goldberg machines that you are a small part of to keep going, and I just like love that. I love the variety in the table. Oh gosh, I love the variety, like the huge amount of things in a table that can be different. Hold on, I'm just gonna trap and take a breath here. Like, the more tables I've begun to play, you start to pick up on the differences between all of them, right? That was terrible. Okay, so little talking point here, right? If you see where I'm gonna make the man disappear, and now I'm gonna bring the man back. So you see our protagonist, the fishing man, here floating on that right bumper. I'm just throwing back in. Where he is standing could be considered one of two danger zones. Across from him, so if we say he's at 3 o'clock and the other zone across from him is at 9 o'clock, on this table and in a lot of tables, that is considered the danger zone, where you really need to be careful. I haven't even gotten a multi-ball this entire round. That's crazy. Where if the ball is in there, you may need to nudge. To avoid getting into an out lane or to just getting drained down the middle. Every table's danger zone is a little bit different. The drain, or you know, the gap between the flippers is wider or different a little bit on each table. Flippers' response speed can be a little bit different on each table. How much the bumper moves, the ball, every single thing about a table, like, it adds up to a variety of factors that just causes a lot of natural randomness in the gameplay. And that's not even talking about, like, table objectives, right? So, let's, I'm gonna pause it right here. Let's look at the table guide real quick, right? This kind of walks you through the different objectives you can do on each table, right? So shoot the caster's club to lock 3 balls. This is telling you how to play this table. And really what you're doing when you're playing each one of these tables, you want to learn the skill shots. You want to learn the things you're going to go for. You want to learn the objectives, because when you're playing at a league or you're playing for score, you have to be like, you're basically just like lining up these combos, locking them up, and it's just really it's a game of dexterity and reaction to really like reliably set up these scores and set up these conditions to do these different things. And you can play one table for like 100 hours and still be trash at it, which to me is like a beautiful thing. I absolutely love that. So I guess, you know, oh gosh, why are we starting this one with fishtails, right? So if we look here, this is fishtails. I mean, honestly, if you look at this table and you don't immediately want to sit down and play it, you and me probably are different people. Oh man, that might be because I just got the brain rot, but what are you gonna do? I will say, I just love this table. It's got like, it's actually, so it's funny, right? I have like quite a few other tables that probably, depending on the mood, the holodeck hour will probably consist of either stuff from a single table over and over and over, just as I kind of want to yap. And oh, here we go. Okay, our first multi-ball. All right, we're gonna try to do a little focusing here. And we already lost the multi-ball. No, we got one back though. Oh, you got them both back. Oh, that was unsavable by me as a terrible multi-ball player. That one was unsavable. All right. We're gonna focus on this guy. Yeah, I know, like, I'm barely learning all of the techniques in pinball. Trying to get my dead bounces down, trying to get my ski passes down. Oh gosh. Trying to get my flips down, my transitions. The only thing I can reliably do is like trapping, which is like nothing. Actually not a bad score. The multi-ball helped a lot there. We're just locking in a little bit because we are kind of nearing. There we go. A good score. Oh, there it is. Our slap saves. Oh! Yeah, see there, I did trigger a danger, so you have to kind of be careful with those. You only get a couple of those before you tilt. So yeah, nudging I'm trying to get better at, but this table, I don't know. It's actually one of the free Williams tables, and it's like a classic Williams table, but I just... Oh man, I forgot to look. What's that? Can I see my high score? $38 mil. Man, that was I think I got that last night. That's actually a pretty good score. Yeah. I just really like this table. And the reality is I haven't like actually gotten a good trigger. I haven't caught all the fish and activated the jackpot or any of the super jackpots yet. Which is like, oh god. Please have mercy on me. The chum bucket of fishtails. Yeah, I just want to like be able to reliably save these balls, have nice like... I'm trying to get to like solid 10 to 20 minutes on a credit per session. Like that's kind of my immediate goal, is just like sit down or go to an arcade and just line these bad boys up and be able to play consistently and just get like, you know, just be respectable number of score and feel like I am somewhat in control. It's kind of like a metaphor for my life, man. We're talking about it, like trying to feel control in like a sea of randomness is like the ultimate human dream, but that's probably a bit too... Oh, gosh. We're getting a little too Aristotle during our Fishtails Pinball Holodeck hour. Oh, man. Yeah, like, on this board in particular, I really don't know the skill shots yet, or, like... I know the danger zones in general. There. We got lucky there. That was almost a backflip. Oh, that was stupid. That was stupid. That was just a bad flip. I could have saved that one. That was bad. That was just bad. But, you know, I think with that, you have a healthy understanding now of why I am playing pinball. The background of pinball and my love for understanding the nuance of minutia in this very interesting little hobby. What I'm kind of planning to do with like others, like this series, there's going to be like definitely some roguelikes in here. Maybe just like the interesting part, I guess, like to me as I'm thinking about these is, right, like there's a whole bunch of stuff I also kind of just want to try, like I have a feeling that there may be some edits of these where like I start as like a holodeck hour and then I'm like, I don't really like this, and I might turn into a first look or just a one-off. But we can do that with the magic of editing, as long as I don't say it too many times and sound like a fool. Yeah, but the original idea for this was definitely like I have so many roguelites and like just kind of one-off dungeon crawlers and other stuff that I was like, man, it'd be cool just to kind of do a series where I show off these games, and a lot of it too is just to like add to the sea of gameplay videos on the internet, because like I am such a sucker for trying, like I'll look up something, I'm like, I want to see gameplay from this year. I want to see like 2025 gameplay of this only, and I want to see it in high def, and I want to see it, and I want to listen to it with good audio, and I want it to just be like a normal video, and that's all I am offering is high quality video and audio with terrible gameplay and mediocre voiceover. Voiceover is definitely just we'll say mediocre chatter. Oh man, and we have been terrible here. We didn't hit a single 30 mil. All right, let's figure this out here. I love the way this guy looks. He is my like idealized version of myself, just rolled up jean shorts, plaid shirt, ripped calves. Oh, there we go. I will say, like, one of my I really like Medieval Madness too, which is like a classic Williams table. I don't have it on this. I have it on a different pinball game right now, but I'm just waiting for a sale to pick this up, and we'll get some ones in there. My local pinball establishment does have Medieval Madness, which is, oh god, what a terrible series of events. I see that all the time too. It's like, oh. Don't flip as much. That is like the #1 tip. It's just like, hold your horses. You know what I mean? You don't always have to be on top of it. Aiming. Paying attention. Oh, there we go. That was a slap save right there. Paying attention to where the ball is going to be, not where it is now. And basically trying to... reacting a little bit sooner than like it being like, you know, a quarter second from just going straight down the middle is super important. And trying to build that both oh, there. I should have up nudged. I should have pushed the post into the ball to get it out. But we live in a world of goofing. I know I'm hopping around topics left and right. That's the way my brain works. The other stuff on the Holodeck Hour, I definitely foresee stuff like just me playing like Binding of Isaac. Or I don't know, like Impaler or Devil's Fire, or I would say racing. Maybe something like Ballistic NG, where I'm just like kind of grinding through different stuff. Racing, oh man, we had a chance there to catch a monster. We goofed. We did catch one fish though. No match. It's crazy that we started this video and we got a match. I actually don't know what it does. I assume they gave you an extra ball, but I think you got to be better than me to nail those. The thing with racing is, well, actually, I do have another channel. Oh god, what a terrible series of events again. That's actually dedicated just to racing. It's like not related to SpockPlays at all. If you want to go check it out, it's called Time Attack TV. I have not posted anything there in like 4 months because I have not had any chances to race recently. Because I've been playing pinball. No, just more so just traveling a lot lately, and life stuff. You can only really pick up a couple of hobbies. I also like paint and play a lot of like wargaming stuff, which also takes like a massive amount of time. Although I love it. You can only have like, my biggest problem is I just have too many absolutely niche but require a lot of time hobbies. Oh god. We're dying. We're out here dying. Because while I do love all of these, it's like, just, you don't get good at anything unless you put like consistent practice and time into it. I'll take a fast cast though. Look at that. We got one fish. That is the first fish tail. That tail has been told, as you can see by the blinking fish boy. Oh, God. Again. Yeah, this is one of those tables where I really need to zoom in. Not like this, but I'm just trying to read actually a little bit more. Like, I don't know how I changed my lure. I don't know where the actual fit. That's a huge part of each thing too, is really learning these tables. But I will say the physics in this game are fantastic. And the visuals, I just love the way they emulate the lighting. Ugh. On the racing point though, yeah, with the racing channel, that one actually, it's like commentary less for now. It's more just like a replay channel for me. But the thing about racing is I can't talk and do it at the same time. I feel like most channels, like, I mean, I honestly couldn't tell you a single one that doesn't do this, but it's always like replay commentary or kind of after the fact commentary, because it's tough. It's super, like, when you're racing, the second that you, I mean, for me, I can literally, like, you have to be so focused, which is why I love it. You cannot think about a single other thing in your life when you are racing. at like, especially like I have a racing rig and a really nice wheel, really nice set of pedals, and I do like, you know, when you're doing iRacing, you're doing like 45 minutes, like an hour, or if you're a crazy person, multiple hour races. You just have to be focused. You can't let any other thoughts creep in, which is tough in this day and age because everything's always trying to push its way in. But when it comes to like recording content and stuff, there's just zero. There's no chance. I can barely. I mean, I've crashed just thinking about dinner in the corner, being like, oh, did I pull a chicken for tonight? Crashed. You have to be so focused. So unfortunately, live commentary for that does not work. But commenting on stuff after the fact, I've thought about doing just like kind of like replay reviews. The reality is, I'm decent, but I am nowhere near good enough to be like critiquing driving stuff. I know enough just to be dangerous and to speak the lingo, but I am nowhere near the level you need to be for like people to bring value from the content at a technical or a skill level. It would be purely from an aesthetic level, which is like oh my gosh, the only value I offer is aesthetic. Unless you want to talk about like programming or audio or something like that. That I actually didn't know what I'm talking about, but we don't need a channel for that. That's why I actually don't have channels for either of those things, because I do them so much. If I introduce any further amount of them into my life, I will hate them both immensely, and I've already approached that boundary several times. So we're just chilling, making videos of stuff that we like to talk to. Come on. There it is. Yeah. Alright, for this last one, we're going to lock in a little bit. So we're just going to... As I drain the middle ball... Oh, goodness lord. Help me become the pinball wizard. I can't help but also say that, like, every time I play pinball, I immediately think of, like, that Rush song. YYZ? No. Is it a Rush song that I say, the Pinball Wizard? I'm gonna have to look that up. Because, yeah, we're gonna have to pause real quick, because I think I just made a fool of myself on the internet. And, as you all know, as we are on the internet here together, that is a cardinal sin. Is being incorrect. Oh my gosh, I literally see it, and it like is yeah, no, that's the Who. I knew it was the Who. Did I say Rush? I meant the Who. I said Rush, and then I made a Rush reference, and then I knew it was the Who. Who is the Who, anyways? I'm sorry you're here for this. Yeah, one day I do want to be that pinball wizard. I do think about that song a lot, though, whenever I play pinball. It's just like them walk into the pinball lounge, and the amount of steez that guy must have had to be like flown off his body, that these guys wrote a song about him that lasted like, you know, 40 years after the fact. What a legend. That guy must have been so freaking good at pinball for the Who to write Pinball Wizard just about him. Oh man. I missed a little tip too. I actually said what year this game is from. Because when you look at this table, it looks pretty modern, but I don't think I've played this one in person yet, so I cannot commentate on how close the simulation is to the actual table. I'm just locking in. Eyes locked, hands are steady, knees are weak, promise to get. I love frickin' stuff the ROM and the header has up there. Grab your gear. Oh gosh, there again. In my mind's eye, I see what I need to be doing, and then I just don't do it. That's literally why I'm doing this session in particular, is because I have played this so much and I'm still so bad.
How big was it?
I don't know. Oof. I will say I had the largest burrito for lunch today. That's like a new thing I've been doing where I just take all the leftovers we have and I throw it into a burrito. And that is a efficient way for me not to have to use a lot of dishes and also reduce food waste. But it ultimately leads to like a big nap. It is always followed by, oh gosh, see now I'm slipping. Now Bay is slipping. It always leads to a crazy nap, and that is very much what is in my future after this ball. I can feel it in my bones, Mr. Krabs.
Oh, you got one under, eh?
What does that mean?
How big was it?
I don't know. You tell me. You are the fish man. We're doing it. We're not doing it. Oh man, that was painful. We had a couple good rounds, but we need to work on the yap and work on the flap. You know what I mean? That's just how it goes. Gosh, I wanted to beat my high score, but it just wasn't in the books today. There's gonna be a lot more of this though. As for the first inaugural holodeck hours, I think we've came and accomplished what we have been looking to accomplish. Be on lookout for more of these in the future. Just casual background stuff, nothing too crazy, just chatting and playing games. I encourage you to do the same because it saves us all a little bit of pain. With that, if you like the new thing, feel free to comment, share, like, subscribe, whatever you like to do. It always helps to get those types of interactions with the algorithm. I will be posting up some more of the syndicated series here in the next day or so. They're still going to be ongoing. This is just a way to get more content that I'm playing and get a little bit more yapping in. And with that, I hope you enjoyed today's little episode / podcast thingy. And I'll see you next time. Have a good one, y'all.